Gambit needs these major changes. Okay, now that Bungie's gone, I have perfected one of my favorite PvE builds. You can get literally unlimited volatile rounds, devour, and invisibility. It's so good that I think it might be too strong. Don't you dare tell Bungie. I'm Marshix and I make Destiny 2 guides for solo players. If you enjoy the build, all I ask for is a like on the video. The build revolves around Gerfalcon's Hauberk. When you emerge from invisibility, your void weapons gain volatile rounds. This means any invisibility effect can give you volatile rounds. Enemies hit with this will explode on death and activate certain perks. Now this is where things start getting broken. Stylish Executioner. Defeating a volatile target grants you invisibility. You see where this is going. Emerge from Invis to get volatile rounds, which turns you invisible and refreshes your volatile timer. As long as you can get a kill before the timer runs out, you never lose volatile rounds or Invis. Any void weapon will work, so it's time to dust off the old funnel web. If you don't have that, other weapons I recommend are Unforgiven, Aisha's Embrace, Gnawing Hunger, or Palindrome. And for the other weapons, definitely run a void heavy like Taipan, Retrofit Escapade, or the new Regnant Grenade Launcher, which I haven't unlocked yet, but I've heard it's really strong. And the kinetic slot doesn't really matter, so I went with Izanagi's Burden for quick burst damage. It doesn't stop there though. We can improve our abilities even further and activate multiple damage buffs. The second aspect we're using is how you'll turn invisible going into an encounter. Vanishing Step will turn you invisible with your dodge, and Trapper's Ambush turns you invisible with smoke bombs. I decided on Vanishing Step, but it's really whatever you prefer. For fragments, I went with Echo of Cessation to make enemies volatile with finishers and to create void breaches when we kill volatile targets. So basically every kill. Echo of Starvation to use those void breaches, as well as Orbs of Power to activate Devour. Devour, of course, healing you with every kill and giving you grenade energy. Echo of Obscurity for another source of invisibility from finishers. And Echo of Persistence to extend the timer of both invisibility and Devour, so you should never run out. Now let's look at the mods. We want to slay out against small enemies, but also still put up good numbers against bosses, so let's throw in a damage buff. I decided on 3 Void Weapon Surges. Picking up an Orb of Power will give you an armor charge. This mod will make it so that while you have an armor charge, you deal more damage with void weapons. 1 mod will increase your damage by 10%, 2 makes it 17%, and 3 will make it 22%. And you can have this almost all the time thanks to Harmonic Siphon. Multi-kills with void weapons will generate Orbs of Power. These will activate your Void Surge mods as well as Devour, so this is a must-have. I also have Firepower and Heavy-Handed to create Orbs of Power from Grenade and Melee Final Blows. You can never have too many orbs. And the mod that makes your damage buff last forever is Time Dilation. With 3 of these, each armor charge will last for 20 seconds, meaning if you pick up 3 orbs, you have that 22% damage buff for a full minute, and you can extend the timer just by picking up Orbs of Power. That sounds broken, because it is. And the build gets even better with the artifact, which now gives you permanent effects rather than mods that you have to put in your armor. There are a lot of perks here that make this build even better, but let's start with Volatile Flow. Picking up an Orb of Power grants your weapons volatile rounds, another way to start the volatile invis loop. So now, picking up an orb gives you Devour, volatile rounds, and a 22% damage buff. That's a lot to get with very little effort. Moving on, we have Shatter Orbs. Breaking a matching shield spawns an Orb of Power. Not amazing, but more orbs to feed the build. Authorized mods, Void, and Grenades to make some of the armor mods cheaper. Bricks from Beyond to create heavy ammo with Void weapon kills against powerful combatants. Void Weapon Channeling for another damage buff from Void weapon kills. This doesn't stack with Void Weapon Surges though, so it's more of a backup damage buff rather than something we're speccing into. And Prismatic Transfer to buff your teammates who are using non-Void subclasses whenever you cast your super. This is a 20% damage buff that does not stack with Well or Bubble, so it kinda sucks on Titan and Warlock, but this does pair nicely on Hunter since you have Tether to apply a debuff on a boss, and this to apply a buff to your team. For the rest of the build, I decided to fill it out with these mods, prioritizing resilience and some mobility. We also have Heavy Ammo Finder and resistance mods to keep us alive. You need to try this build out before it gets nerfed, cause let's be honest, it's probably getting nerfed. What do you think of the build? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, I'm Marshix, and I'll see you next time. I'm a Hunter main now.